All right, we're going to do a little bit of a review of just plotting points and how to graph a line. And a lot of it's going to be using this lovely formula. This is called the slope-intercept formula. I like this. Notice the y is all by itself. And you always want to put your x term first and then plus b. And what you probably want to know, and we'll talk about this again here, is the m stands for slope. The b is your y-intercept. That means the point where it hits the y-axis. So before we even get into that, let's do a quick review on how do you even plot points, because that's pretty important. Okay, so I've just drawn this big old coordinate plane right here. Remember, this is your x-axis and this is your y-axis. And any point that you have, so I'm going to come down here. Let's come right here. And let's do this point right here. Okay, what does this mean? All points are in a special order. The x comes first and then the y. So if I was going to plot this point, 3, 5, that means I'm going to go over 3 on the x, and since it's a positive 5, I'm going to go up 5 on the y to make my point. So watch this. Grab this. So here we go. I'm going to always start right here at the origin, which represents 0, 0. And remember, my point was 3, 5. So I'm going to go over 3 units. 1, 2, 3. I'm just hovering right there. And then my other point was a 5, so I'm going to go up 5. Notice I've gone up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we should be right there. Now we have to look because I'm at an angle because of my phone. But 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's my point right there. So that is the point 3, 5. Okay, let's try another one. What about this one? What if I wanted this point? It's a positive 3, negative 2. Okay, very similar. Remember, this is your x, this is your y value. So I'm going to go over 3 on the x-axis, and then I'm going to go down 2 because it's a negative 2. So let's practice plotting that point. So again, you always start right here at the origin. I'm going to go over a positive 3 and then down 2, and I'm just hovering until I get to that point, and then it's about there. So that is the point 3, negative 2. Okay? All right, let's try another one. What if I had this point? Okay, how about that? The point 0, negative 6. This is telling me I want to go 0 on my x, and then I want to go down 6 for my y. So right here on my thing, I always start right here again at the origin. It says go nowhere. Don't go left or right. That's why the value is 0. And then it says to go down 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I should be right there. So that is the point 0, negative 6. Okay? Let's do one more. How about this one? Negative 4, 2. Okay? Remember, this is my x, this is my y, so I'm going to go over 4 on the x and then up 2 since it's positive 2. Okay, so it start here. It was a negative 4, so I'm going to go left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's positive 2, so I'm going to go up. Had it been a negative 2, I would have gone down. Okay, so there's that point. So we have practiced plotting 4 points. All right, now let's do this. We already have, well, I'm trying to see, which two do we want to do? Sorry. Let's practice this line right here. The line y equals 1/3 x plus 2. Okay. Now what this line says, it's in slope-intercept form. This value right here is my slope, 1/3. Remember, slope is defined as rise over run. Okay? And we'll look at that just in a minute. This 2 right here is my y-intercept. That means the point that hits the y-axis. So I'm going to go back over here. Actually, I'm going to just use a new little graph right here, and we are going to practice graphing this line. Okay? So, what it's saying to do is go to the positive 2 on the y-axis. So look what I'm going to do. Here's the positive 2, and I'm going to make, that's my first point right there. Okay, so that's where you always start, is your y-axis. Now look at your slope. my slope is 1 over 3. It's defined as rise over run. So I'm going to rise 1, and then I'm going to run 3. I'm going to go left or right 3. It's a positive 3, so I'm going to go to the right 3. Okay, so again, I'm going to start right here at this one point, and I'm going to go up 1, and I'm going to go right 3. 1, 2, 3. So there's my point right there, and I'm going to have to peek. Okay, I can do that again if I want. From this point, I'm going to hover, like a little hovering craft. I'm going to go up 1, since it's a positive 1, to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go in for a landing. So you can see I've got these nice points in a nice line. That is my line right there. Okay, now we're going to graph another one of those lines. Let's try another one. How about if we do this one? Y equals, let's do 1/2 x minus 3. Okay, my slope is 1/2. It's the number in front of the x. My y-intercept is a -3. So if I was going to graph this line, I'm going to go to -3 on the y-axis, and I'm going to make a point on -3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make my little point right there. That's my first point. Now, from that point, I can then move. Look at my slope. My slope is 1 over 2. That means I'm going to rise 1, and then I'm going to run 2 to the right because it's positive. So I'm going to go up 1. I always rise. And I'm going to go 2, and I'm going to go in for a landing, and I'm going to make a point. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. I just do a few points, okay? Draw a line, connect your dots, put a little arrow on the end, and there's your line. That is the line for this equation. Okay, I'm going to do one more. What if I had this one? Y equals negative, let's do 2/3 x plus 1. Okay, just making some up. Okay, because the y is by itself, this only works because the y is by itself. This is my slope, -2/3. Right here is my y-intercept. So I'm going to go to 1, and I'm going to put a point in right there. Okay, there's your y-intercept. Now, my slope is defined as rise over run. So I'm going to start at this point, my y-intercept. I'm going to go up 2 because I like to always rise. But because my slope is negative, I am now going to run to the left 3. So, okay, I go up 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to go to the left. 1, 2, 3. And there it is. If you want to do it again and make another point, you can. You can go up 2, 1, 2, and left 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's your line. If you are forced to go down because you're out of room for some reason, let's say you had to go down 2, then you're going to have to do the opposite and go right 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you can do that, but I don't want people to get confused. So there's your line right there. Okay, make sure you extend your line, put some arrows on the end because this line is never ending. All right, I'm going to start that, and let's also, those are all in slope-intercept form. Now let's take those, we did 3 lines, and we can practice putting those in standard form real quick. Okay, so here is my first one. Okay, now to put it in standard form, you need to get your x and y on one side, and then you get the boring number on the other side, so no big deal. I just kind of throw this y over here on this side, so look what happens. It would be a 1/3 x. It's a positive y on this side, so when I throw it over the wall, it's going to be a minus y. Okay, and I'm going to throw this 2 over here. It's a positive 2, so when I throw it over the wall, it becomes a -2. So if you don't like the way this looks, you can put your x and y on the left. It doesn't change anything. 1/3 x minus y equals -2. Okay? Now, this would be a great answer. Sometimes they don't like fractions. If they don't like fractions, then see how there's a 3 in the denominator? You're going to multiply everything by 3. If you multiply this by 3, basically it disappears, so you just have a boring x. Multiply the y by 3. If you multiply the -2 by 3, you get -6. So that right there is in standard form. Okay, let's try the other ones that we did. Look at this one, y equals 1/2 x minus 3. Same difference. To put it in standard form, throw this y to the other side. So I've got 1/2 x. It was a positive y, so it's going to become a negative y. Put your 3 on the other side. It's a -3, so when you throw it over, it becomes a positive 3. Okay? If you want to get rid of this fraction, multiply everything by whatever's down here. So I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So that's going to become a 6. 3 times 2 is 6. This disappears, so you just have a 1x. And take negative y times 2, so you're going to get negative 2y. So that is in standard form because I have my x and y on one side, the constant, the number on the other one. Okay, let's do one more. Here was the other equation we looked at. Okay. Since my x is negative, I'm going to throw him over on this side to make him positive. So look, it's a negative 2/3, so it becomes a positive 2/3 x plus y, is already a positive y, equals 1. That way I only had to move my x. So actually that one's easier. Some books will consider this in standard form. Again, I don't typically like a fraction, so since my denominator's a 3, I'm going to multiply every single thing by 3. That makes this guy disappear, so I just have a 2x, multiply him by 3, and multiply that one by 3. Now that one is in standard form as well. Okay, so that's going from slope-intercept to standard. Okay, let me stop there and then I'll do a part 2.